Hey, welcome back to Pete Plays. It's another Philosophy Friday. We're trying this out for a few weeks, and we're going to see if this is something we like doing. Today, we're playing one of my personal favorites, Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat. Who is Danny Sullivan? I have absolutely no idea. But you know, he's good or whatever. So this is like an IndyCar racing game that we played constantly as kids when we had a Nintendo. My older brother got it, and we just loved racing each other in it. It's infuriating, especially if you're playing one player against Danny, who is the yellow car. If you go, it's one of those games that just keeps going and going and going. You don't really like ever win. You just see how long you can go. And usually by about the third go around of the game, the computer will decide that it's tired of losing and will just beat you automatically. So let's put my name in. I don't know what to make my name. Pete. Oh, we'll go with PTP, I guess. I remember when I would play this, I would always use ACE, ACE, because I was like, because I'm an ace driver. All right. Oh, I want to be this dude. I want to be this dude with the sunglasses and the perfectly coiffed hair. Welcome, Pete. So today on Philosophy Friday, here's what I want to talk about. Here's the thing that everybody knows kind of about that it's a thing. Oh, do I want to buy engine stuff? Or so this is the section where I choose stuff. Everybody knows that there's this thing called Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and it's sort of, it's just one of those things that everybody seems to know about. There we go. But I would argue that a lot of people don't really understand. That is not what I meant to do. Okay, here we go. I guess I'll get that out of the way. So, if you're not familiar with it, Plato's Allegory of the Cave is basically, there are people in a cave, and they're sort of chained. Did I get knocked out? Oh no! Oh, rats. Okay. They're chained in the cave, and they are like chained to looking at the no, drive! Oh, I won. Okay. They're chained so that they're staring at the wall of the cave, and all they can see, look at my muscular pecs. All they can see are the shadows that are cast on the wall in front of them from a fire that's behind them. So they're like stuck looking at this one thing. And the idea of the allegory is that this is sort of what reality is like. Let's get a better engine. Let's get better miles per gallon. That's what. Let's burn Rabadani. So this is the idea, and the idea behind it that Socrates is telling this story, and what he's trying to get at through, like, Plato is writing through the character of Socrates. And he's trying to get at the idea that, like, hey, what we see isn't all that there is, right? There's something else to reality. What a lot of people take this to mean is, oh, reality is fake, and also, do you see that one of Danny's pit crew died? Reality is fake, and we can't trust anything, and everything's the Matrix, and we need to like escape from the Matrix so that we can like really know everything. I'm gonna argue that this is not a proper reading of the Allegory, and I'm doing this based on the fantastic scholarship of Dr. Eric Pearl, who was my Plato professor in grad school, and is also just a fantastic philosopher. What I found interesting is he's technically a medieval philosopher, interestingly. Let's get faster at that. Let's get better tires. Oh, he bought turbos for me. That's not what I wanted. Let's burn rubber, Danny. But anyway, that's beside the point. What? Ooh, get out of my way. Look at him. Look at him cheating. So the idea is when you're in the cave, you've got to like escape the cave, and get out and like see the sunlight or whatever. Right? Dang it! Ah, Danny, you cheater. So you got to unchain yourself, and not only do you have to realize that the shadows on the wall are not real, but also that they're cast by like a fire, which is not real, and you have to get out to like the sunlight, right? Danny's gonna win this one, unless I can catch up to him. Get out of my way! Let's see if I can. Oh, I screwed it up. Ah, rats. So it's like, okay, I can get out, I can go up to the sunlight, and I can see reality. That is a really like a sort of modern prejudice reading, I think, of it, because it has this idea that there's like what you're thinking, and then there's reality that's out there. And as we talked about in the realism video last week, that's a pretty modern idea. Miles per gallon, crude tires. I think I gotta get better at accelerating. Okay. That's a pretty modern idea. So here's a different reading of this that I'm going to present, and it's based at least in part on my experience with scholars who who have taught me this, right? So I'm not like coming up with this idea on my own. But I've done research into this, and I find this to be a really compelling reading. And there's this other dialogue that Plato has written. It's called the Phaedo. And basically it's sort of like the conversation that Socrates has with his buddies before he dies. It's like his last conversation. Can I make it? Aha! I made the fuel gamble. So they're talking about the nature of the soul. Like, what is the soul like? How do we know what it is? What's going on with the soul? And there's this one part where Socrates tells this story about. Oh, this one's 8 laps. There we go. He tells a story about these sort of like worlds. I love this track. And the oh, get out of the grass! These different worlds. So there's this one world that's sort of like partly underwater. It's corroded, right? That's the image. Oh, rats! The image that is used is the sort of the way that the world is corroded, and get into the pit. Ah! See, green dude got in my way. And then there's the sort of like plane of reality that we're on. That's sort of in the middle. And then there's this place up in the ether, and it's beautiful, and everything's so clear and perfect and pristine. Oh, get out of my way! Oh, last lap. Green dude! So there's these 3 levels, and we're at the middle one, and there's this sort of like, ooh, everything's gross, and then up there's like, oh, everything's perfectly clear. So what he's not saying is like these are like at some level of people have read this in a sort of religious way, which is like, oh, there's heaven and then there's earth and then there's purgatory or hell or something like that. It's not like that. He's trying to make an allegory that is communicating ideas about I don't use brakes. I don't know why I would use brakes. He's trying to make an allegory about like the way reality works, and people have thought that Plato is this guy. He hates the body. That we use the term platonic to mean a relationship that is based not in sort of like carnal desire or lust or whatever, but to describe people who are like friends of virtue or something like that. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that particular description. But the idea that Plato sort of abhors the body is, I think, not based in the reading. If you read Plato, you're not gonna find that idea. I couldn't do it. That idea just isn't there. You can kind of find it, but really that happened because medieval philosophers sort of imputed that into Plato in the sort of like rediscovering. Also, there's a lot of Augustinian influence of the sort of like concupiscencia, which is this sort of like bad desire of things. Let's get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those. So I feel a little scatterbrained. Basically, the idea of the cave that I'm proposing is not, oh no, isn't it so bad that we're duped about the nature of reality? It's, the reality that we think is the most real is not the most real. It's kind of real-ish, but it's not the best, right? When you see, Danny, you big fat jerk, look at me, my butt's on fire. Oh my goodness. Right? There's nothing fake about silhouettes on a wall. It's just not the most real. Let's see if I can get him. Can I get him? Ah! It's just not the most real, right? So the idea that there's, remember, so in the allegory, it's like, I'm looking at the wall, and there's stuff in front of the wall, and then I'm here and I'm only looking this way, and there's a fire behind me and it's casting shadows. The fire is sort of like a representation of the sun. It's like a smaller version of the sun. So it's, again, not fake. It's just not the most real. I don't know why I had to continue. I've come in like first or second every single race. That's lame. Do I want to increase my acceleration? Or my miles per gallon? There we go. Right, so, there's this phrase that, people, there's this, sort of like, the idea of like a platonic ideal or a form, like the forms. I don't remember off the top of my head what the exact Greek phrase is, but the idea, is that it is a description of what Dr. Pearl likes to translate it as really real reality. And by that he means the most real. Everything that we see has nice. Everything that we see has like elements of reality in it. Nothing that we see is completely fake. That because it's intelligible. It has unity, right? We can see it as a unity and go like, oh look, it's a thing. It's something that I can talk about that's intelligible. Intelligibility is the sort of bellwether of the realness of things. It's just that some things have a lower level of intelligibility. So the idea of the cave is not, oh, I have to escape the cave so I can know what's real. It's, I need to constantly be in a state where what I'm trying, 12 laps, this one's a marathon, where what I want to do is be reaching for a higher plane of, that's not the way I want to say it. be reaching for a better understanding of what the really real is, of what the most real is. That's what I want. Am I gonna run out of fuel before the end of this lap? Basically, I want to try to pit when Danny pits. Okay, I know my crew's better than his. Ha-ha! Yes! Bumped him out. That's really the only way that you can beat Danny in the later stages of the game is by, like, kicking him off his crew stall. And time it well. So yeah, I want to constantly be reaching for the most real thing. And that's what, oh, rats! That's what Socrates admonishes his disciples to do. How is it that I have less fuel than him? That is not so. Okay. Let's see if I can sneak around him. No, Daddy! Oh, why does he get all of the money? Socrates admonishes them a couple different things. Oh yeah, bonus money. Oh, I'm gonna max everything out. 400,000. This is really gonna save my neck. I don't want brakes. Brakes don't matter. There we go. He says a couple things to them. One, he says, take care of yourselves. And what he means by that is not, like, take care of yourself. Like, he kind of means that. But what he means is, take care of yourself. Like, that which is the most you, care for. And he thinks that that is not just your body. But rather, that it is your soul. Your soul with your body is the thing that's the most real. So people who only care about sort of like the needs of the flesh or something like that. Ugh! I beat him! The reason that they're mistaken is because they've neglected their soul and the way that it attaches to their body. It's not like, oh, my body is the worst, so I need to think about only the soul. It's like, no, you still have to eat, right? Like, the ancient Greeks were really interested in eating right and in eating the right way and in drinking the right way. Like, how much wine should I have? When should I not eat wine? For them, sexuality was also a part of this. It was like drinking, food, and sex. It's like, how do I do all those things correctly to put my body in the position to be connected to my soul correctly? This is a very different idea than, oh no, I don't want to, like, my body is bad and I need to transcend my body or something like that. That is not how that works. Or at least according to my interpretation, which I think is supported by many scholars and a lot of research, right? It's not the body is bad. That is shoot, get out of my way, green dude. That is a prejudice that is not shoot. That gets introduced in what Foucault calls the Christian age, which is the sort of like Roman period when you have all like Augustine and all these. Oh, I'm not gonna do it. I crashed. Where the Greek idea of like the connection of the soul to the body gets sort of taken over by the Christian idea of sarx. This is where we get the idea of like sarcophagus, which literally means a flesh eater because you put a dead body in it. Better engine, better gas. Man, I can't really get. I'll do that. I'll get really baller tires. So anyway, to sort of wrap up, because I feel like I'm about to lose pretty soon. The idea is not, oh, soul bad. Or sorry, oh, body bad, soul good. The idea is, what is the right way to care for my identity? Which is a connection of my body and soul, while also realizing that this is not my, like, this thing is not all of me. Did not do that one well. Look at him, he's just going faster, like magically. These guys are in my way, they're gonna blow it for me. So when I care for myself, what I'm doing is I'm realizing that there's more than just like what I'm seeing, but it's not, it doesn't involve like me leaving behind all the things. I'm not trying to transcend my body. I'm not trying to forget that my body exists. The most real things, let me get these, okay, I'm out of, oh, you know, I didn't buy turbos. Ah, darn. I'll do that next time. I won without turbos in that race, I don't even care. Look at him. Look at his smug, dumb head. Yeah, so that's the allegory of the cave. The idea is not, oh, I gotta escape the cave like it's the Matrix or something. I think that's a really common misunderstanding. The idea is, I want to get to where, you know, things are real now, right? They're not unreal. Am I gonna make it? Ah, rats! I'm not gonna do it. I did not time that well. Danny's gonna win. Yeah, I'm not escaping from the Matrix. It's not like, because in the Matrix, it's like everything's not real. It's a total made-up thing. But even then, that's not a really great understanding of the Matrix, because the construct that they're in also isn't not real. It's just not the most real, right? Like, there's nothing not real about New York or human history, or, you know, that Keanu Reeves, or sorry, that Neo, Mr. Anderson, is a hacker or whatever. Like, that's not unreal. That's not all made up. Those are concepts that are still intelligible when he gets taken out of the Matrix. But realizing what the Matrix is about getting out of my way. Is about realizing that it's not the most real. And that's why Cypher, you know, spoiler alert 20 years later, that's why Cypher wants to go back in. Because he can't handle that the most real thing is awful. Yeah! He can't handle that, like, he wants to go back to just some real, right? Because for him, some real was like the pleasures of being able to eat a delicious steak, or like not having to deal with the problems of being cold all the time, which are things that he could enjoy in the desert of the real, or whatever. I need some turbos. Those are things that he could theoretically like find in Zion, right? If they managed to still have cows and eat beef, or be able to eat beef or something. It's just that it's too real for him. But Socrates would say that Cypher is, he's not caring for his whole self when he does that, because Socrates thinks that it is better to be just and have bad things happen to you than to be unjust and have a great life. Ah, oh, rats! I messed up. This happens in I forget which dialogue. I'm not a Platonist, but there's a dialogue where Socrates basically says, like, yeah, it is better that your soul is cared for. I have all the best of everything except brakes, because those don't matter. It's better that your soul is cared for, and that you crud. Oh man. Okay, I managed to pit at the same time as Danny, which is nice. Yeah, so it's better to like care for your whole self. Oh no, not what I wanted at all. I'm gonna lose. Rat monkeys. That'd be a weird thing. Anyway, that corridor right there is just brutal. Anyway, yeah, I feel like I haven't done the best job of explaining it, but that's what happens when, like, your attention is divided. These are already really difficult concepts to begin with, and then when you try to explain them, like, while getting your rear kicked at, racing. Oh, yay. Did I? Yeah, I'm still good. Yeah. That's one thing that I think, the reason I think that this crud connects to realist versus anti-realist metaphysics is because a lot of realist metaphysics want to sort of co-opt, I think, this idea of, oh look, everything is so, you know, there's the real and then there's the not real. I'm gonna be able to finish. He's not gonna be able to finish. Okay, watch him just go super fast, right? Look at this cheater. Look at this cheater. Oh my gosh. It would say like, oh, here's the fake, and there, like, you know, the sense that we get of things has to match what's out there. And again, interiority and exteriority are very, very modern prejudices. In the sense that we think of them, like, oh, I gotta make what's in my brain match what's out there for things to be right. And again, I'm not saying that that's bad. There are in a future Philosophy Friday, probably the next one, I'll talk about knowledge and power and how they create structures and systems of you know, ways to know things. And when I say, like, okay, this is the way that this is the way that like science works, and that, you know, science kind of depends on in a lot of ways on realist metaphysics or you know, aspects of realism. What I'm not saying is, oh, that I am an anti-realist means I am anti-science. I just have a different understanding of the way science works because I view it as a series of structures of knowledge and power. Look at him. Look at him cheat. Look at all of the cheating that he's doing. I don't care. I'll win anyway. Yeah, suddenly Danny can just go 5,000 miles an hour. Wow, I managed to last way longer in this than I thought. Oh, yes, and I got a bunch more money. I feel like this is the longest I've ever gone. There's so many chobos. There we go. Now I have the most of everything, and I feel great about it. This is where it's gonna start getting impossible. Because it's like, Danny's gonna keep being amazing, and I'm not gonna be able to get any better. Even though now I have the best brakes, even though that didn't matter. Yeah, anyway, so, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? My relatively poorly explained version of that. I don't know why my pit sign is up. I should be able to go this whole race without pitting. Oh no, now I can't! Haha, and I still won on fire! Yeah, if there are, I would say if there are things that you are interested in, stop, there we go. If there are things that you are interested in knowing about or want me to talk about, you should leave a comment or tweet me at petpelaysnes, or leave a comment on my Instagram, which is not amazingly curated, to be completely honest, which is also petpelaysnes. And let me know, like, what's something that you want me to try to talk about or explain, which I definitely can do, hopefully. See, look at that. I was half a lap ahead. That is so ridiculous. Oh, look at this. 30. We're tied at 36 puntos. Oh, I've got one more continue. We're gonna keep doing it. Here we go. Yeah, so there are definitely things in philosophy that like I don't know about. I'm what's called a continental, and there's this thing in America or in Western philosophy in general called the continental analytic divide, and it is not as big a deal as it used to be. It was a big deal. Oh no! I'm gonna lose this race. It was a big deal up until around the turn of the century. I'll just kind of... but basically there was the idea that there's these sort of two camps, and what people tend to think is like, oh, analytics do this kind of this kind of philosophy that is really good with like science and the hard sciences, and continental is more about the soft sciences, and like that is kind of true, although not. It becomes true in a sort of like rule of thumb kind of way, but not in any sort of really substantive way, because I hate my life. Oh, I'm gonna lose. Because there's a guy like, say, Michel Serre, who's like really into science, and how science works, and he's a continental. There's basically it comes down to like what are your past influences, and both continentals and analytics trace their sort of lineage to Kant, but they interpret Kant very differently. I'm gonna win this one. No! I'm gonna win this one. Fire! Oh, that's it. Game over. Oh no, not game over. I can still do it. But they sort of go different ways. Analytic is also called Anglo-American because the main figures in it tend to be English or American, whereas continentals, the main figures tend to be from the continent of Europe. Not that they're, you know, sort of the big names in continental philosophy are Hegel, German, Kant, German, Marx, German, Sartre, French, Nietzsche, German, Heidegger, German, lots of Germans, really. But there are also significant French, Spanish influences in... Dude, Danny, I swear to monkeys. No, I'm out of gas! Oh, I tried to go the whole race and I couldn't do it. He's way ahead of me. He's like 16 points ahead of me now, 12 points. Yeah, I can't catch him. I game over. Anyway, that's Philosophy Friday. Ooh, 448. I could not beat Ta and Steve, which these are just preloaded and you know because they use more characters than they let you use when you input your own name. Anyway, yeah, I hope this is fun. I know it's just sort of scatterbrained, like talking philosophy, just throwing stuff out there, and this is not gonna substitute for like a philosophy class, but if these are ideas you're interested in, it's sort of a good place to start. And I think it's just fun to talk about them. So yeah, like I said, if you have any requests, put some stuff in comments or tweet at me at PETEPLAYS, and let me know what kind of stuff do you want me to talk about on philosophy. I might learn some stuff too, which I think is super fun. So yeah, that's been Philosophy Friday, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of PETEPLAYS. Bye guys.